Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're going to be diving into something pretty interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, it has to do with the world of consulting and specifically how it's changing.
Okay.
So, we've gotten a lot of questions from you guys about this, specifically about specialized consulting.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and it seems like a lot of you are trying to figure out what this means for the future
Yeah, makes sense.
of the entire industry, really.
Mm.
For a long time, consulting was all about being, you've heard this before, I'm sure, a jack of all trades.
Right, yeah.
But the research that you guys have sent over suggests that maybe things are changing, and changing pretty rapidly.
Really?
Yeah, we're seeing a really big difference in revenue between generalists
Okay.
and specialist firms.
Interesting. So we're talking about people that,
Yeah, so I've asked our expert to come in today to kind of help us break down, unpack why this is happening.
yeah, happy to hear.
So, the consulting landscape is definitely moving away from generalists and towards these specialists
That's right.
who have really, really deep expertise in certain niches. And the data really shows this.
Oh, absolutely.
I was reading that generalist firms can often plateau at around like $500,000 in revenue
Partner.
per
Yeah.
partner. Yeah. But specialists, wow, sometimes 10 times that.
Wow, that's incredible.
It's wild. So what is going on here? Like, why are clients willing to pay so much more for a specialist?
Well, let's think about it this way. If you were a company and you were facing like a super complex problem,
Right.
wouldn't you rather go to somebody who you knew had a history of solving that specific problem?
Oh, yeah.
Right? So specialists can offer a level of certainty and reduced risk that a generalist just can't.
It's like going to a heart surgeon versus just like a general practitioner when you have like a heart issue.
Exactly. Exactly. That's a great analogy.
You want the specialist.
Yeah, you want the person who does it day in and day out. And that's why clients are willing to shell out more money for that.
Makes sense, yeah.
Yeah. But it's not even just about reducing risk. Specialists can also deliver results much faster because they're not spending a bunch of time getting up to speed on the industry or the specific problems.
Right.
They can just hit the ground running.
One of the articles that we got sent had a really cool example. It talked about this European consulting firm
Oh, yeah, I think I read that one.
that specialized in operational excellence, but specifically in pharma manufacturing.
Oh,
And they were wildly successful. They were generating something like $15 million in revenue. But their competitor, who was more of a generalist, even with a bigger team, was struggling to hit like 1.5.
wow, that's a huge difference.
Huge difference. And so it's just such a great example. It's not just about having expertise. You have to be able to package that expertise into something unique and valuable.
For sure. I mean, they created their own intellectual property, basically,
Yeah.
which allowed them to stand out and offer something truly unique.
It's brilliant. So we talked about the proven results. We talked about faster solutions. But are there other advantages? Like, what else are specialists bringing to the table?
Another big one is what we call network effects. So because they're so deeply embedded in their niche,
Okay.
they have connections, relationships, access to information.
It's like having a VIP pass to a club
Exactly. Exactly.
that nobody else can get into.
Yeah, and that can be super valuable to clients that are looking for any edge in a competitive market.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, it's like the old saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know, or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
I've butchered that. But you know what I mean. It's all about who you know. So,
for sure.
okay, Prue.
Yeah,
Okay, so we've established that this shift towards specialization is definitely happening.
it is.
And there are obvious benefits for the consultants, for the firms, everybody.
Right.
But what's actually driving it? What's making this happen now? Why is this the trend?
Well, a big part of it is this digital revolution that we're in.
Oh,
It's just accelerating the need for these really specific, very focused skill sets.
can you give me some examples?
Yeah, absolutely. So think about the rise of something like telehealth.
Okay.
Companies need consultants that can help them navigate the really complex regulatory landscape of that.
Right.
They need to integrate it into their systems. They need to make sure that all the patient data is private and secure.
Right.
It requires a lot of specialized knowledge that a generalist just wouldn't have.
So it's not just understanding the tech, it's understanding how that tech works within a specific industry.
Absolutely. And we see this in all kinds of sectors.
Okay.
Like manufacturing. You've got the rise of Industry 4.0, all these interconnected systems. You need people who can guide companies through that.
Makes sense.
Yeah, a general understanding of manufacturing just isn't enough anymore.
It's almost like this digital revolution is forcing some kind of Darwinian selection
It really is.
within the consulting world.
Yeah.
Those who can adapt, develop deep expertise, they'll thrive.
Mm.
But those who can't, well,
Well, they're going to be left behind.
they get left behind.
That's a great way to put it.
So what does this mean for somebody out there listening right now who's
Right.
thinking about getting into consulting? How do they even become a specialist?
Well, a few key things.
Okay.
You know, the research that you sent mentioned that specialists are really good at identifying underserved markets.
Okay, so it's not just about being good at something, it's about being good at something that's needed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You got to find that niche where your expertise is both valuable and in demand.
Like if you're really passionate about, I don't know, underwater basket weaving, but nobody needs that,
Right.
then
Yeah.
it's not going to be a good business.
Not a good business, no.
So it's got to be a need.
Yeah.
Okay, so find the niche.
Find the niche, and then once you do, you got to develop some kind of unique methodology or framework.
Oh, so this is like creating your own intellectual property.
Exactly. Exactly. It
Okay.
could be a specific process, set of tools, even just a way of framing the problem.
Huh.
That sets you apart.
So it's like that software that European firm developed.
Exactly. It's like having a secret sauce that clients are going to want to pay for.
Okay, so you find the niche, you develop a secret sauce.
Mm-hmm.
What then?
Okay, you got to let people know you got it.
Ah,
You
okay.
got to become a thought leader.
Okay.
You got to write articles, give talks, do research.
Get yourself out there.
Yeah. Position yourself as that go-to person.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And then you got to keep learning.
Always learning,
The world is changing so fast,
especially with tech.
especially with tech, so you got to stay on top of it all,
Hmm.
always be learning.
You had a really good anecdote in your notes about this.
Oh, yeah. When I first started out,
Yeah.
I tried to be a generalist.
Okay.
I thought, that would make me more marketable.
Right. More option.
More options,
Wow.
right. But I realized I was spread too thin. I wasn't really developing deep expertise in anything.
Okay.
It wasn't until I focused on a very specific area, organizational change management,
Mm.
that I really started to see success.
So by focusing, you actually created more opportunity.
Exactly.
That's awesome. Okay, so we talked about it from the consultant's perspective,
Right.
but it's important to think about the client.
Yes.
Why are they seeking out specialists? What's in it for them?
Well, because specialists offer a unique set of benefits that generalists just can't match.
We talked about a few, but are there more?
For sure. Think about the level of industry-specific context that a specialist brings.
Right.
They understand the nuances of the client's industry. They speak the language,
Right.
so they can tailor those solutions.
It's not just about understanding the tools, it's about how those tools fit in a certain industry.
Yeah, exactly. If you're a healthcare company implementing a new system,
Right.
you don't just want someone who knows software. You want someone who knows healthcare.
It's got to be both.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also, because specialists are so deep in their niche,
Yeah.
they're at the forefront of trends. They're seeing the best practices,
Oh, so they're bringing fresh ideas.
fresh ideas, things the client might not even know about yet.
So in addition to all the other things, they're bringing this really specific up-to-date knowledge.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we got reduced risk, faster solutions, network effects, understanding of the industry, best practices.
It's a lot.
That's a lot. So yeah, it seems like clients are turning to specialists because, well, they're getting all of that.
All of that, yeah.
It seems like a win-win.
Yeah, for the most part.
Okay.
There are some challenges.
Okay, we're going to get into those.
Yeah, we'll get there.
But first I want to zoom out a little bit.
Okay.
Where do you see specialized consulting going in the future?
Well, I think it's only going to get bigger.
Really?
Yeah, think about it.
Okay.
The challenges are getting more complex. Technology is changing faster than ever. The demand for these specific skills, it's all pointing in one direction.
Toward specialists.
Toward specialists, exactly.
Okay, so you think this trend is here to stay?
I really do. And there's a few reasons why. First, business challenges are just becoming more complex.
Okay.
We're not dealing with isolated problems anymore. Everything's connected,
Right.
like supply chains.
Okay.
A disruption in one part of the world can have a ripple effect.
It's like a big tangled web.
It is, and you need someone who can see the whole picture.
That's a lot of expertise.
It is, and a lot of times it requires expertise in multiple areas,
Right?
like supply chain and AI.
Oh, wow.
You might need somebody who understands both to really optimize a global supply chain.
So specializations are becoming even more specialized.
Exactly. It's like a niche within a niche.
A niche within a niche within a niche.
Exactly. And then on top of that, you have the integration of technology and business strategy.
Oh, right.
It's not enough to just understand one or the other.
Right.
Companies need people who can bridge that gap.
So you're not looking for a tech person. You're not looking for a business person.
Right.
You're looking for that hybrid.
The hybrid, yeah. They're the translators
Yeah,
who can speak both languages.
makes sense.
Yeah, and then finally, you can't forget about global competition.
Oh, right,
As
yeah.
businesses become more global, the talent pool becomes more global.
Yeah.
Specialization becomes a key differentiator.
So it's about finding your space.
Finding your space, exactly.
Okay, so if specialization is the future, what does that mean for somebody who's listening?
Yeah.
What advice would you give them if they want to build one of these specialized practices?
The sources you shared has some good advice.
Okay.
They talked about market analysis,
Okay.
developing expertise, building relationships,
Mm-hmm.
and creating content.
Okay, let's break that down.
All right, market analysis, it's about understanding the playing field.
Okay.
You got to find that niche where your expertise is needed, where there's opportunity.
Your homework.
Yeah. Do your homework.
Don't just jump in blind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You don't want to jump into a niche that's already oversaturated
Right.
or where there's just not enough demand. You got to research the market, understand the competition.
Okay, got it.
And once you've found that niche, you got to develop and maintain that deep expertise.
So stay current with the latest trends, tech, all that stuff.
Yeah, you got to be a lifelong learner.
Oh, I like that.
Conferences, industry publications, online courses, anything you can do to stay ahead.
So it's never over.
Never over.
You're always learning.
Always learning.
Okay.
And then building relationships.
Yeah.
Networking is huge.
Mhm.
Connect with other experts, potential clients.
You mentioned influencers before.
Influencers here.
I feel like that's important, right? To engage with them.
It's huge, yeah. Build those relationships.
They can open doors.
They can open doors. They can amplify your message.
Yeah. I mean, don't be afraid to reach out.
Exactly. Share your work. Have conversations.
Cool. So we got market analysis, develop expertise, build relationships, and then creating content.
Content creation.
Why is that important?
That's how you establish thought leadership.
Oh.
It's how you show the world what you know.
No.
Build that reputation as an expert.
So what kind of content should they be creating?
Depends on your niche. Depends on your audience.
Okay.
Could be blog posts, articles, white papers, case studies, webinars, podcasts, even videos.
Wow, that's a lot.
It's a lot, but the key is to make it high quality.
Right. Not just putting stuff out there.
Yeah, it's got to be insightful, informative, engaging.
It's got to be good.
It's got to be good. And don't forget about social media.
Oh, right.
Powerful tool for building your brand.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so follow those 4 steps. Analyze the market, develop the expertise, build those relationships,
Yeah.
create content, and you've got yourself a specialized practice.
That's the roadmap.
Awesome.
Hmm.
But we've talked a lot about the good stuff.
Right.
Are there any downsides?
Of course, there's always downsides.
Okay, I'm curious.
Yeah.
What are some of the potential downsides of being a specialist?
I think one of the biggest risks is, you can become too narrow in your focus.
Okay.
So if you hyper-specialize in some niche and it suddenly becomes obsolete, what do?
Right, you're kind of stuck.
You're stuck. I was actually talking to a consultant the other day,
Okay.
and he had built this really successful practice, but it was all around a specific software platform.
Oh, wow.
He was the expert, but then the company got acquired.
No.
New owners came in. They decided to kill the platform.
Oh, no.
His whole business model just vanished.
Wow, so he had to start from scratch.
Sort of much, yeah. Took him months to
Yeah.
kind of retool, retrain, reposition himself.
So it's a cautionary tale.
It is, yeah. Adaptability is key.
So how can specialists avoid that? How do they, make sure they don't become too dependent on one thing?
I think it's about finding a balance.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you want to have that deep expertise, but you also got to be flexible,
So maybe keep an eye on other niches, other trends that could complement what you're already doing.
Exactly. Don't wait till it's too late.
Be proactive.
Be proactive, yeah. The other thing is you got to stay visible.
Oh, right. Because if you're a specialist, you're competing with all the other specialists.
You are, and it's a crowded market.
Sure. So how do you stand out?
That's where thought leadership comes in, personal
Yeah.
branding.
Right.
You got to show people what makes you different,
Your unique perspective, your methodology.
Exactly.
Your results.
Your results, yeah. And I think having a strong online presence is super important these days.
Oh, absolutely.
Got to be active on social media, got to be publishing articles.
Yeah.
Make sure your website is easy to find.
It's like your digital storefront.
It is, exactly.
Cool. So it's not just about being a consultant. It's about being a thought leader.
That's a great way to put it.
All right. Well, I think this deep dive has given us a lot to think about.
It has.
The consulting world is changing. Specialization is the future.
It seems that way.
But it definitely comes with its own challenges.
It does, but I think it's a really exciting evolution.
Yeah.
It's going to benefit everybody in the long run.
Consultants can deliver more value. They can charge more, they can have more fulfilling careers,
All right.
and clients are getting the best expertise to solve their biggest problems.
It's a win-win.
It really is. So for everyone listening out there, I want to leave you with a question.
Okay.
If specialization is the future, what skills are going to be the most valuable in your field 5 years from now?
That's a great question.
It's something to really think about.
Yeah, what are the emerging trends? What skills are in demand?
Pay attention to that.
Yeah, those are the areas where you can specialize and really make a difference.
And remember, specialization is not just for consultants.
Right.
It's for everyone.
Everyone, yeah.
Whatever you do, whatever your field is,
The more specialized you are.
the more valuable you become.
Exactly.
All right. Well, on that note, I think we're going to wrap up this deep dive.
That's good.
We covered a lot of ground today. We talked about the rise of specialized consulting, what's driving it, the good, the bad, and some practical tips for building your own practice.
Yeah, hopefully everyone listening feels a little bit more informed about this whole thing.
And maybe even inspired to go out there and become a specialist themselves.
Or find a really good one.
Or find a really good one when they need it.
Exactly.
All right, that's it for the deep dive. Thanks for listening.